Hi everyone. The purpose of this report is to examine the economics effects and the ESG washings, where some of the companies will give a false or misleading impressions of being socially or environmentally responsible. Furthermore, in this report, we will further explore the tools or methods for detecting the ESG washings. In addition, the reports will look at the roles of the shareholders and stakeholders' activism in preventing the corporate's misconduct. And lastly, we'll analyze the top wealth latest disclosure to identify human rights practice and assess the company's current and future governance reform.
Firstly, I will be discussing about how ethical theory can be applied to evaluate ESG washing behavior by top management. Maintaining integrity in sustainability reporting is essential from multiple ethical perspectives. First, deontological ethics, as outlined in APES 110 Code of Ethics, emphasizes honesty and integrity as duty, making ESG washing, which is the act of misleading stakeholders, morally wrong. From a teleological view, such as utilitarianism, ESG washing may offer short-term gains but leads to long-term harm, stakeholder distrust, and fail to maximize societal benefits. Virtue ethics focuses on the moral character of leaders, stressing values like honesty, accountability. ESG washing reflects a lack of these virtues, undermining ethical professionalism and damaging trust in corporate governance.
Now, I'll share about how we can detect ESG washing and why is it bad for companies. So first, we can use the ESG washing severity index. It checks if a company's ESG report sounds too positive compared to the actual content by using NLP and sentiment analysis. So ESGCI is derived by subtracting the sustainability content score from the sentiment score of a company's ESG report. A positive ESGCI would indicate potential ESG washing. Companies may be using overly positive language without substantive ESG action to support it. The benefit of this technique is that it is applicable across sectors and regions. Second, another technique is internal vs external sentiment analysis. We can compare how the company talks about ESG internally versus how the public talks about it online. Internal data are from company ESG disclosures, while external data are public opinions on tweets, posts, and reviews. The NLP will assign sentiment scores to both data sets and the correlation analysis will be done. If people outside of the company feel very differently, especially negatively, there is a negative correlation. And this mismatch can reveal that the company's ESG claims might not be fully true. Now, why is this a problem? First, it can hurt a company's long-term value. Once people find out that the company is exaggerating, it can lose trust from investors and customers. And this in turn leads to a drop in sales, falling stock prices, and fewer investment opportunities. Regulators might also fine the company. As a result, market value and credibility declines. Second, it can lead to equity mispricing. ESG washing can attract investors who care about sustainability and pushing the stock prices up. But when the truth comes out, prices can crash quickly. It also misleads the company itself by causing them to focus on looking good rather than actually doing good. Eventually, there will be higher cost of capital and reduced innovation within the company. In short, ESG washing might bring long-term attention, but it causes serious damage in the long run.
By referring to the three cases highlighted, shareholder and stakeholder activism plays a vital role in preventing corporate misconduct. First, shareholder activism, led by institutional investor, proxy advisor, and ESG index provider, pressure company to uphold ethical label standards. Investors use proxy voting and divestment to push board towards corrective actions. Stakeholder activism, driven by the global consumers, human rights organizations, and NGO like Liberty Share, raises awareness of unethical practices. Liberty Shares petitions to the USCBP lead to import bans on companies like Top Glove, prompting remediations. This collective effort compels firms to reform, improving transparency and aligning with international human rights standards.
Next, we are going to talk about the Top Glove alignment of human rights disclosure with stakeholder expectation and global best practice. So, according to 2024 Top Glove annual report, Top Glove has fully implemented human rights due diligence across all its operations. Human rights due diligence is guided by the framework United Nations Guiding Principles and International Labour Organization forced labor indicators. This involves continually assessing negative impacts and communicating with senior company executives how these impacts are being addressed. So, Top Glove company reported that 9 factories were audited under SMETA, and while some non-compliance was found, there was transparently disclosed with clear reference to ongoing remediation efforts. In addition, company sustainability disclosure have been independently verified by Serum QAS International, a recognized third-party certification body. Such third-party verification enhance the company credibility, demonstrating that company reports are not isolated self-reporting. Moreover, Top Glove, all of its factories audited under the FESCI framework received an A rating. Indicates company excellent in areas such as fair remuneration, no bond or forced labor, and etc. The SCI focused on upholding international labor rights conventions, and this result provides strong third-party validation of Top Glove improvement on labor rights. Lastly, Top Glove conduct materiality assessment by engaging with various stakeholders, including employees, NGO, and investors. This reflects that company directors' participation in interaction with institutional investor, employee, and workers forum. And this proves that the company is not only actively responding to external pressure, actively incorporating stakeholder concerns into its pending issue.
Now, I will move on to the corporate governance reforms implemented by Top Glove to enhance corporate conduct towards workers. Firstly, Top Glove implemented their zero-cost recruitment policy that dictates that all recruitment fees are covered by Top Glove, and this means that Top Glove will reimburse workers that were previously charged. Top Glove will also conduct orientations and interviews to detect any hidden fee practices. This policy prevents financial exploitation by eliminating debt bondage, therefore improving worker trust and welfare. Next, Top Glove incorporated due diligence in their engagements with recruitment agents. Top Glove will evaluate all records, and all engagements are subjected to key management approval. Top Glove also incorporated due diligence in their social audit compliance. Top Glove conducts annual sightings and virtual audits that covers forced labor in their operations and supply chain. This ensures continuous monitoring, early identification, and proactive addressing of issues to safeguard employees' human rights. Next, Top Glove has multiple grievance channels for employees to safely report misconduct and abuse. This includes email, WhatsApp, workers' representatives, and their employee mobile app. This reform expanded to the sustainability grievance channel for stakeholders to raise concerns on labor practices, enhancing transparency and build trust. They also have yearly engagements between non-executive directors and staff representatives to address grievances, which bridges the gap between directors and staff to demonstrate management transparency and accountability. Moving on, Top Glove have their own whistleblowing policy to encourage employees to safely report violations without fear of retaliation. This policy is reviewed yearly to ensure relevance and effectiveness. They also employ independent services to convey information, ensuring anonymity. Lastly, Top Glove implemented a program to ensure occupational health and safety. This program offers free medical care and equips all factories with first aid facilities and trained personnel. They actually aim to expand their professional team to provide regular health services and talks to their workers. They expanded this program to include mental health by offering counseling and mental health workshops to support workers' well-being. All this reflects Top Glove's commitment to international standards and professional and progressive labor governance as they achieve health and safety certification for 7 factories in 2024 and have ongoing efforts to certify all factories by 2025.
And in conclusions, ESG washing presents both ethical and economic risks. It damages a company's credibility and long-term value. And tools such as the sentiment analysis and the ESGSI can help in detecting the misleading claims and improving in their transparencies. And we found out that the pressures from the investors, consumers, and NGOs can encourage a stronger ESG practice. And after analyzing the Top Glove latest disclosure, we have found out that a few human rights practices, such as the stakeholders' engagement and social compliance, audit and transparencies, and independence verifications. Besides that, for the corporate governance reform that have been implemented or will be implemented in future, such as the zero-cost recruitment, whistleblower channel, grievance channel, and this will wrap up our representations. Thank you.